Good morning, everyone. Today, I want to talk about AI. You may have heard of Gemini 3, which is Google's newest AI, and so far it's proven to be super capable. There might even be enough proof now that it's more capable than ChatGPT. And the reason this matters is because leading up to now, ChatGPT has been the biggest name in AI. And I think people almost directly associate ChatGPT with AI. For example, if you're asked to list off a search engine, you're going to associate the concept of a search engine with the company Google. Now, I know there's going to be people that want to say Bing or something else, but for most people, the company Google will be associated with having a search engine. And similarly, when you ask people about artificial intelligence, their first company that they think of is going to be like ChatGPT or like OpenAI. But so far, Gemini 3 is starting to outperform ChatGPT. And it's a little bit hard to test AI because what do you test it on? There's so many different concepts and topics, and the world is so vast. There's so many different ways you can assess performance. But the basic things like math, science, and coding, Gemini 3 is starting to do better than ChatGPT. They even held blind user tests where people are given access to both AI models, and it's a test where they don't know the difference between the ones that they're using. And so in a blind test, people are starting to prefer Gemini. And so Sam Altman, who is OpenAI CEO, declared a code red at OpenAI. And he's basically telling people like, hey, stop what you're doing because we have to make ChatGPT better. And it's not like a disaster. It's not like something bad happened, but this is more of a business wake-up call that, hey, let's do whatever we can so that we stay a competitor in this space. Now, where I think Google is winning outside of their processing capability is their distribution. So Google has the power to put AI where people already are. It's within Google Search, it's within Chrome, Gmail, Google Docs, and the list goes on and on. And people don't have to go to a special website to access it. They can just click AI mode and they're already there. It's kind of like if you had to make a new product and you have the power to just drop it inside of people's homes instead of making them go somewhere special to buy it or to access it. And so with people having easy access, people are going to be using it more. And obviously, like, AI is not perfect. No company is perfect. And especially now, it's a very much a learning curve for every company, so there's going to be mistakes. But here's the thing, like, if people are getting to use Gemini 3 more frequently, it's going to be making a lot of mistakes. But right now, Google's in a position where they're privileged to be making those mistakes because now they just have more chances to grow. With people accessing it more, they have more data points to collect. They have more ways to train their models better. And eventually, they're in a space where they're going to have the better performing AI just because they're in a position now where it's just used so much more frequently than it used to be. On top of that, Google has the better hardware, so their AI chips are better. They have better data and more of it. Again, the whole concept of the search engine. Google already has the processing power of sorting through like world events and articles, and it's already got the power to kind of sort and organize things and learn before AI even comes into effect. And all of this better and more abundance data is going to help train Gemini 3 so much more better. Google also has a lot of AI researchers that's helping the tool become better too. And honestly, it's a surprise that Google wasn't already ahead because they invented the core AI tech, which is the transformers. If you haven't heard of this technology, the transformers, it's essentially, I'm trying to explain it in a way that's easy to understand. So before any of this, AI used to kind of read sentences one word at a time from left to right. But now, for example, like say you're giving AI a couple of sentences, and then say you say something like, my cat's name is blank, and then you say blank is blah, 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 and then later on in that paragraph, you say blank is brown. And so now ChatGPT, or any AI right now, really, they all use transformers. They all know that, okay, like, let's associate the name with the cat, and then now we can associate cat with the color brown, and so now we know that the cat is brown. It's essentially the ability to understand context, to remember earlier parts of a conversation, to kind of write or understand coherent paragraphs, and to solve complex problems. the core technology behind all of that is called the transformers, and Google invented transformers. And so, the prevailing thought is that they would be the ones to utilize it to create the better AI model. And it's a surprise that so far, OpenAI is the one that ran off with it quicker and earlier than Google. But now Google is making that comeback. I hope I explained that properly, because I know it's kind of a tricky concept to explain. But OpenAI also has problems of its own, and I think that's what's holding them back right now. Its best employees have been leaving for competitors, especially now that all these other companies are starting to, develop their own models. Meta is coming out with their own thing. I think social media, each one has something integrated. So I think AI is being used so much more in other companies. So they probably just got, better offers, better pay, whatever. But OpenAI's best researchers and employees are starting to leave. And also for OpenAI, if they want to keep building larger and better models, they need tens of billions of dollars. And that's something else that's holding them back. And so all of this ends up adding financial and talent pressures, and it might just be too much for OpenAI to deal with. And just looking back, things have changed so much since 2022. At first, I think Google was the one that was backpedaling and feeling threatened by ChatGPT, and maybe even the thought came up that our search engine might be, choice number 2 now. I think, what if people stop going to Google search altogether? What if everybody's norm now becomes just, if you want to do something, you go to ChatGPT. If you want to find an article, you go to ChatGPT. What if ChatGPT becomes the norm for everybody? But now the tables have completely turned, where OpenAI is the one declaring a code red, and OpenAI is the one feeling threatened, and Google is the one continuing to come out ahead. And look, OpenAI is still in business. It's not like they're going bankrupt. They still are the more well-known AI, so they still have more users in terms of volume. But Gemini 3 has the faster rollout, better reasoning, better access to Google's various applications. And so if this trend continues, then Gemini might take the #1 spot eventually. Thanks for watching.